New France was the very beginning. It holds the key to Canada's early history and was a huge influence of what Canada is today. But where did New France come from, and why was it such a key component of making Canada? It all started when Christopher Columbus set out to find a sea passage to India. We all know the story of how he found the Caribbean and thought it was India, but when he returned to Europe, he sparked a lust for exploration. Many countries decided to send ships out into the vast Atlantic in search of this India. The most well-known French explorer was Jacques Cartier. Cartier went on many expeditions to the New World. He went more north than when Columbus went. In fact, he went very north of Columbus's findings. He went to what is now called Newfoundland. He explored and mapped the Gulf of St. Lawrence. He also claimed the area for France. Many years after Cartier's expedition, another French explorer by the name of Samuel de Champlain set up 4 colonies: Tadoussac, Ile St. Croix, Port Royal, and Quebec. After a while, these colonies all united into one large colony called New France. In 1663, a proper governance was established. This sovereign council carried out the king's orders in the large colony. It was a council composed of 3 people: the governor, the intendant, and the bishop. These 3 people were the most important people of New France. Meanwhile, while New France was finding its feet, Britain established the famous 13 colonies in what is now called the USA. Over in Europe, tensions were rising between the British and the French. Britain wanted the French's land, and French wanted the British land. This ended up getting transferred into North America and became the 7 Years' War. Many battles were fought in the war, including the Plains of Abraham, where both generals were shot, and the city of Montreal was taken over. This final battle decided the fate of New France. With New France conquered, the British owned the land of New France, as well as the land west, known as Rupert's Land, which was mainly a trading land occupied by the Hudson's Bay Company. 2 Canadas were quickly made up: Upper and Lower Canada. Both of these lands were based along the St. Lawrence River, which made trade between the two very easy. There was a large social divide between the 2 lands. Upper Canada mostly consisted of British people, and they were governed by British people. Lower Canada was filled with French people, but they were governed by a council of British. This caused a fair bit of unrest for the French people of Lower Canada, and it ended up resulting in a nationwide revolution in 1837. People from both Canadas revolted, demanding a reform. Although the revolt only lasted a month, it was a large step towards confederation. Lord Durham was sent in 1838 from Britain to write a report on the revolution and give his opinion on what should be done to settle the unrest. After his report, Britain decided to go with his plan to unite the 2 Canadas and make them a single province. With the Act of Union in 1840, this became a reality. When ideas of confederation came around, Canada's economy was in shambles. Because of Britain's rule over Canada, they commanded the trade laws. It was after the Act of Union that the people of Canada started to consider uniting the Maritimes and making their own government. There were a variety of reasons to confederate. Mostly it meant better trade policies and extended defense from the Americans. When Confederation finally came around on June 1st, 1867, 150 years ago, Canada became a country. Now, in modern-day Canada, we have a fair bit of influence from French culture. From looking at how the British pretty much took over, it's a little hard to believe that we have a lot of French influence in the overall Canadian culture. Ever heard of the word toque before? Well, that's French. Ever tried poutine before? That's had French influence. Heck, even our second language is French, and there are huge areas of majority French-speaking people, Quebec being the largest, but there's also a large area in New Brunswick and in Manitoba. All government documents, like passports and bills, are all in French. Have you ever been to Ottawa? You can cross a bridge and the signs would be in French because you're in Quebec. Even living on the West Coast, you still get a lot of French influence. In most elementary schools, you can choose from French immersion or English. One of the required courses in late elementary school is French, and you have to speak French fluently if you want to have a government job. Canada's culture has had many influence from around the world, which makes Canada such a diverse country. But if we didn't have French people, Canada would be a whole different story.